Hi, and welcome back to PhatKid Garage. In today's episode, we're going to go ahead and finish up the Detroit steel coilover conversion on this Mustang behind me. In the last episode, we took care of the wheel tubs and got them 100% done. Now we're going to go ahead and try to get this car back on the ground today. So, hope you enjoy what you see. So the coilover kit uses this existing hole here in the frame. This is obviously after I've done the mini tub. So all the spring cup and all that stuff is gone. But it uses this existing hole in the frame. It comes with this little, I guess it's a die, but it fits in to a regular hole saw. So you could drill this hole out to 1 5/8 inches. So that's where we're gonna go ahead and start, is get this thing drilled out, get this hole done, and then we'll move on to the next step. After you get the first layer of metal drilled out, there's actually 2 sheets here, or 2 layers of metal on the frame. Once you get the first one out, the little die doesn't really do you much good, so you can just go ahead and just continue drilling without that. The next step is take your upper shock mount bracket, put it in there, kind of center the mounting holes the best you can, and then scribe them. And then I start with a step bit just to kind of get the hole started. Once I get it started with the step bit, I move to an 11/32 drill bit and finish out the holes. And take your mount, kind of check your holes, make sure they're for the most part lined up. I think it does leave you a little bit of wiggle room. The next thing it gives you in the kit are these little weld nuts. They go actually up inside here to hold the bracket on from down below on each side. It tells you to wrap tape around the bolt so it kind of takes up the slack, and then you scribe. There's a little, let's see if I can get it to focus. Something like that. Anyway, you can see the mounting hole there. You scribe that in and then drill those out. And we'll go ahead and drill those out with a step bit. With the step bit, just drill it enough so you can get this little screw on, or at least through the hole. Do the same thing to the other side. Once you get that done, I just took a little bit bigger drill bit and I'm going to bevel the edge so those screws will sit flush, like so. So now when this screw goes in there, it fits nice and flush, like that. Okay, now that all the holes are drilled, we're going to go ahead and test fit all the weld nuts. And once we get it all test fitted, we'll take everything back out, shoot some primer in there, then we'll go ahead and mount the shock. If you have any issues lining up the little weld nut with the little set screw, take one of the mounting bolts for the actual upper mount itself and just thread it in a little bit, and that'll kind of line up your hole. On the other side. Just like that. All right, looks like everything lines up real good, so we'll take it apart, throw some primer on it, and then mount it for its final time. Hit it with a quick coat of primer. Let that dry and then go ahead and get it remounted. We'll come back in just a sec. All right, I think the primer's just about dry. Let's go ahead and get these weld nuts back in. So I went ahead and put the mount on the shock so I can go ahead and mount the shock all in one shot. You can tighten it from above. The other thing I forgot to mention, when you drill this hole, you can go all the way straight up through. There is a grommet plug. You knock the plug out, use that same adapter and drill the upper hole out so you can come down and drill, or so you can tighten the bolt in the frame rail from above. But I went ahead and drilled those out from the bottom. I just didn't show that part in the video. Also go ahead and snug these bolts up, or these screws up too. There you go. I'll go ahead and tighten the upper shock mount from inside the frame. Get a hold back on this. And go ahead and pull the camera off, get a kind of a better angle. There you go. It's actually a pretty cool setup for a shock mount. I don't think I've done one like this. I got the driver's side done too. I did that one earlier. Also, here's the driver's wheel tub. I still have to do the rubberized undercoating on it, but it's all 100% done. Frame rail's all done. Again, I'm going to use like the dyno mat to patch these holes. They're just factory holes, but yeah, it's a pretty cool setup. Let's go ahead and get the axle hung back under here with the new control arms. Finish this thing up, get it back on the ground. All right, so I got everything in here. New brackets bolted on. It's pretty straightforward. The only one you have to drill a new hole for is this. Everything right now is just loosely put in here just to make sure there was no binding or anything like that. I also use Detroit Speed's control arms, lower. They're fully adjustable upper and lower control arms. You can see those up there. And again, everything is just loosely put in here to make sure there's no binding. But I'd say all in all, I like this kit a lot. Aside from drilling the one hole for the lower bracket, it pretty much went straight in. Still have to tighten the upper shock mount, but wheel tub turned out really good. Again, I still have to do some rubberized undercoating on this one. It is primered, but all right. So that should just about wrap it up for this series and this episode of PhatKid Garage. I hope you enjoyed the installation of the Detroit Speed mini tub and the Detroit Speed coilover kit. So far, I'm really happy with their products and everything as far as the install and how everything's fit, the finish, everything. Came packaged really nice, really detailed instructions. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We still have a lot of work to do on this car. So stay tuned for further episodes on this, and hope you enjoy what I'm doing here at PhatKid Garage. I'm out.